Welcome to our channel. Today we'll dive into the amazing world of cat behavior and explore a question that many furry pet owners have surely wondered about. Why does your cat follow you everywhere? This intriguing behavior, when your seemingly independent pet transforms into a faithful companion, accompanying you from room to room, evokes both endearment and curiosity. Let's uncover the mysteries behind this behavior and learn what your cat is really trying to tell you when literally following in your footsteps. You've probably noticed this amusing trait of your pet. As soon as you get up from the couch and head to the kitchen, your furry friend immediately wakes up and follows you. You go to the bathroom and the cat is already sitting outside the door. You decide to lie down and there it is, jumping onto the bed. This phenomenon is so common that many owners jokingly call their pets little tails or shadows. But behind this cute behavior lie deep evolutionary, social, and psychological reasons. Let's start with the most obvious and perhaps mundane reason your cat associates your movements with potential food. During the domestication process, which began around 9 to 10,000 years ago, cats learned to connect human activity with the appearance of food. Unlike dogs, which were tamed to help with hunting and guarding territory, cats entered our homes primarily as hunters of rodents threatening grain supplies. This contract protection of food in exchange for shelter gradually evolved. And today, most domestic cats receive food directly from humans. Not surprisingly, they've developed acute sensitivity to signs that herald feeding. Your movement toward the kitchen, the sound of the refrigerator opening, the rustling of food packages. All these are signals to which your pet reacts instantly, activating what scientists call a conditioned reflex. Research shows that cats can form complex associative connections. If several times after getting up from the couch, you went to the kitchen and fed your pet, it will likely follow you during any movement you make, just in case. This behavior is reinforced not every time, but periodically, making it particularly persistent. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement, the strongest type of conditioning, which is extremely difficult to extinguish. However, attributing everything to food would be too simplistic. The second important reason is social bonding. Contrary to popular belief about cats' independence, they are actually quite social creatures. Studies of wild and feral cats show that with sufficient resources, they often form groups, especially if they are related individuals. Domestic cats raised alongside humans often perceive them as part of their social group, as a large, not very agile, but useful fellow cat. Following you may be an expression of social connection and the need to maintain proximity with a member of their group. In natural environments, related cats often move together, maintaining tactile and visual contact. This is especially evident in kittens and young cats, who in nature follow their mother, learning the basics of survival from her. In domestic settings, this behavioral model transfers to humans. Your pet studies your actions, follows your routes, as if saying, "You are my important elder tribe member, and I want to know what you're doing because it might be useful." Interestingly, some cat breeds exhibit this trait more strongly than others. For example, Siamese, Burmese, and Abyssinian cats are known for their tendency to literally pursue their owners, demanding attention and participation in all affairs. This is the result of selective breeding, where people consciously or unconsciously selected more social and human-oriented animals for reproduction. The third reason for following in your footsteps is curiosity and exploratory instinct. Cats are natural explorers. In the wild, their survival depends on detailed knowledge of the territory, where hunting grounds are located, where to hide from danger, where there is access to water. This instinct persists in domestic pets. When you move around the house, especially if heading to a room with a closed door or somewhere the cat rarely visits, it may be attracted by simple curiosity. What's happening there? Is there something interesting I can explore? Cats don't like when something is hidden from them, and a closed door is almost a personal insult, a challenge to their exploratory instinct. Additionally, your movement itself attracts attention. A cat's vision has evolutionarily adapted to detecting movement. This helps them track prey. When you stand up and start moving, you automatically become the most interesting object in the cat's field of vision, activating its following instinct. The fourth reason is more emotional, the need for security and comfort. The domestic environment, with all its relative stability, can still contain elements that cause anxiety in cats. Unfamiliar sounds from outside, foreign smells, visitor arrivals. In such moments, proximity to the owner, a source of food, warmth, and protection, gives the cat a sense of security. This is especially noticeable in cats that have experienced stress, trauma, or been rescued from difficult conditions. They may literally stick to their owner, using them as a safe base to explore the surrounding world. Psychologists call this attachment behavior, and it's very similar to how small children use parents as emotional support. Interestingly, some cats show particular clinginess in certain situations, such as during thunderstorms, renovations, moving to a new place, or when other animals appear in the house. This is a normal response to stress and evidence that the pet perceives you as a source of protection and support. The fifth reason is the desire to initiate play or interaction. Play is an important part of a cat's life, even for adult individuals. It helps maintain physical fitness, trains hunting skills, and simply brings pleasure. By following you, a cat may be looking for opportunities for playful interaction. Pay attention to your pet's body language when it follows you around. An upright tail with slight twitching at the tip, lively movements, wide open eyes, all these are signs of a playful mood. The cat might suddenly jump over your feet, lightly touch with a paw and jump away, as if inviting chase. This is its way of saying, "Let's play. I'm bored and want interaction." The sixth factor is routine and predictability. Cats are creatures of habit. They feel comfortable with an established daily routine. If your pet is accustomed to something pleasant happening at a certain time after certain actions, it will seek to maintain this sequence. For example, if every evening after you take a shower and then sit on the couch to watch TV, your cat gets the opportunity to comfortably settle on your lap and enjoy petting, it will follow you to the bathroom and then to the couch, anticipating this pleasant ritual. Such behavior is the cat's way of controlling its environment and making it more predictable. The seventh reason why a cat might follow you, especially to certain places, is related to territorial behavior. In the wild, cats mark territory by leaving scents using special glands on their face, paws, and other body parts. Domestic cats maintain this habit, and your home is their territory, which they constantly patrol and mark. When you move around the house, especially if opening doors to rarely visited rooms or closets, the cat may follow you to update its markings or explore potentially unprotected areas of territory. This is especially noticeable in homes with multiple cats, where each strives to maintain its status and control over space. The eighth factor can be called activity synchronization. In natural conditions, cats are active mainly during twilight and night hours. This is the legacy of their evolution as crepuscular hunters. However, domestic cats often adjust their activity cycles to match their owners' schedules. Research shows that cats and humans living together often synchronize periods of sleep and wakefulness. When you get up and start moving, this may signal to the cat that it's time for activity. By following you, it engages with your rhythm of life, contributing to a more harmonious coexistence. The ninth reason is simply attachment and love. Yes, cats can indeed experience emotional attachment to people, and recent research in cognitive ethology confirms this. They form special relationships with owners, resembling the bond between parent and child. Experiments with the so-called strange situation model, adapted from child psychology, show that cats, like small children, use owners as a secure base to explore unfamiliar surroundings and experience stress during separation. Following you may be a simple expression of attachment and desire to maintain closeness with an important social partner. Of course, expressions of love in cats differ from human or even canine expressions. They won't joyfully jump and wag their tail when meeting you, but their quiet presence nearby, purring, slow blinking, cat kiss, all these are signs of deep emotional connection. The 10th reason may be related to health status. Sometimes increased clinginess, when a cat literally doesn't leave its owner's side, may signal health problems or discomfort. The animal instinctively seeks protection and support, feeling vulnerable. Pay attention to whether such behavior is accompanied by other changes: loss of appetite, changes in drinking patterns, unusual vocalization, changes in litter box use. If sudden attachment to the owner combines with other concerning signs, it's worth consulting a veterinarian. Such behavior is especially common in elderly cats, which may experience cognitive impairment similar to dementia in humans. Disorientation and anxiety cause them to seek proximity and confirmation of safety from their human. The 11th factor is the need for warmth. Cats love warmth. Their comfortable temperature is higher than human comfort levels. This is especially noticeable in cold weather. The pet may follow you literally step by step, trying to settle on your lap as soon as you sit down. You are a living source of heat for the cat, especially if the house is cool. Interestingly, studies of cat thermoregulation show they prefer an ambient temperature of around 26 to 30 degrees Celsius, significantly higher than the comfortable room temperature for most people. No wonder they literally stick to us, especially during cold months. The 12th reason relates to orientation in space and time. Cats have an excellent sense of place, but their perception of time differs from human perception. They live more in the present moment and orient themselves to the sequence of events and actions rather than the abstract concept of time. By following you throughout the day, the cat receives information about what's happening and can anticipate upcoming events based on your actions. For example, if you usually feed it after coming home from work, changing clothes, and washing up, the cat will follow you at each stage of this sequence, as if counting down to feeding time. The 13th factor is the influence of early experience and socialization. Cats that were frequently held, played with, and generally actively interacted with during the critical socialization period from 2 to 7 weeks usually grow up more human-oriented and are more likely to follow their owner around the house. This is confirmed by animal shelter studies. Kittens who received enough human attention at an early age, even after separation from their mother, show less anxiety and more interest in people. If your cat persistently follows you, it may have had a particularly positive early socialization experience. The 14th reason may be related to visual contact and communication. Cats are visual hunters. Maintaining eye contact with objects of interest is extremely important to them. By following you, a cat may simply be striving to keep you in its field of vision, giving it a sense of control over the situation. Additionally, cats communicate with us and each other, largely through body language and facial expressions. By observing you, the cat obtains important information about your mood, intentions, and possible reactions to its requests. This is especially important if the pet wants something from you: food, play, affection, and is assessing whether this is a suitable moment to ask. The 15th factor is imitation and learning. Cats are observers and quick learners, often through imitation. If your cat sees you doing something interesting or potentially useful for it, it may follow you to study this process. For example, many cats observe how owners open doors, cabinets, refrigerators, and some particularly clever individuals learn to do this independently. Following you may be part of this learning process through observation. The cat seems to think, "I want to understand how this world works," and you, big two-legged tribe member, clearly navigate it well. The 16th reason is a change in routine or unusual actions on your part. Cats are very sensitive to changes in everyday behavioral patterns. If you suddenly start doing something unusual, for example, packing a suitcase, rearranging furniture, taking medications, the cat may begin to follow you with increased attention, trying to understand what's happening and how it might affect its life. This isn't just curiosity, but adaptive behavior, allowing the animal to prepare for potential changes in the environment. Cats, like many other animals, strive to minimize uncertainty, and observing your actions gives them valuable information about upcoming events. The 17th factor is the need for stimulation. Domestic cats, especially those living exclusively indoors, may suffer from lack of stimulation. In nature, cats spend a significant part of the day searching for food, patrolling territory, interacting with other animals. In domestic conditions, many of these activities become unavailable. Following the owner may be a way to get at least some variety of impressions and activity. You move, do things, possibly talk. All this creates mini adventures in an otherwise predictable cat day. Such behavior is especially characteristic of young, energetic animals requiring more physical and mental stimulation. The 18th reason may be related to feeding regimen. Cats on a diet or receiving food on a strict schedule may develop special attachment to the owner, especially closer to feeding time. This is explained by the fact that in the wild, cats are opportunistic hunters who may eat up to 10 to 12 times a day in small portions. When we limit feeding to once or twice daily, the cat may constantly be in a state of mild hunger and therefore follow you, hoping for unscheduled feeding. Automatic feeders, puzzle feeders, or distributing the daily allowance over several meals can help solve this problem if constant accompaniment becomes intrusive. The 19th factor involves age-related changes and life stage. Kittens and young cats are often more playful and social. They follow owners out of curiosity and desire to play. Adult cats may become more independent especially during periods of sexual activity. And elderly cats may again start showing increased attachment due to age-related changes in sensory organs and cognitive functions. This is especially noticeable in cats older than 10 to 12 years. Deterioration of vision, hearing, smell can cause feelings of vulnerability, and proximity to the owner helps compensate for these deficits. They may rely more on you for information about the surrounding environment, manifested in closer following. And finally, the 20th factor: individual personality and temperament characteristics. Like people, cats have unique personalities. Some are naturally more social and human-oriented, others more independent and territorial. Research shows that cat personalities can be described along several main dimensions: confidence, friendliness, boldness, activity, aggressiveness. Cats with high scores on friendliness and activity scales are more likely to constantly follow their owner. Cat personality traits are formed under the influence of both genetic factors and early experience, and can change slightly throughout life in response to changes in the environment. Sometimes, owners worry whether constant following is a sign of a problem, such as anxiety disorder or excessive dependence. In most cases, such behavior is completely normal if not accompanied by obvious signs of distress, such as excessive vocalization, aggression, compulsive grooming, refusal to eat, or use the litter box in the owner's absence. If you're still concerned about your pet's clinginess, it's worth consulting a veterinarian to rule out medical causes, and then possibly an animal behavior specialist who can help develop a plan to gradually teach the cat greater independence if necessary. In conclusion, your cat follows you for a whole complex of reasons, from simple curiosity and food expectation to deep emotional attachment and security needs. This behavior is the result of thousands of years of joint evolution of our species, creating unique relationships in which the cat maintains its independence while forming a deep connection with humans. When your furry companion accompanies you from room to room, it's their way of saying, "You are important to me, you are part of my world, and I want to be part of yours." Instead of being irritated by such behavior, it's worth appreciating this attachment and responding to it with attention and care. Remember that each cat is unique, and what works for one may not suit another. Observe your pet, consider the peculiarities of its character, and look for an individual approach. Sometimes a cat needs more games and physical activity, sometimes secluded places to rest, sometimes just your quiet presence nearby. And of course, if the nature of following suddenly changes, for example, a typically independent cat suddenly begins to follow you incessantly, or conversely, a sociable pet suddenly loses interest in your movements. This may signal changes in the animal's physical or emotional state, requiring attention. Thank you for joining us in this fascinating exploration of cat behavior. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for new interesting materials about our four-legged companions. And in the comments, tell us if your cat follows you around and why you think it does so. Until next time!